Out of nowhere, she asked me, "Do you think you could raise a child?" A young relative of mine had suddenly become alone when her parents disappeared. At a family meeting, I, a man in his mid-30s and still single, was suggested as a candidate to be her guardian. Reluctantly, I agreed to take her in. Little did I know, this encounter would drastically change my life. "So that means at night, it'll just be the two of us here?" she asked. My name is Liam. I've been living alone for the past 2 years in a village deep in the mountains, surrounded by nature. My daily routine consists of tending to my vegetable garden and gathering wild plants from the mountains, a simple, peaceful life. But why would a man in his early 30s live such a quiet, almost second life lifestyle? Before I moved here, I had worked in a regular company, just like others my age. However, the company I was with was a so-called toxic workplace. There was a chronic shortage of staff, leading to endless overtime and grueling workloads that left me physically and mentally exhausted, almost to the point of collapse. Around that time, my grandpa passed away, and the family gathered to discuss who would take care of his house. Grandpa's house was a large, old building located in a remote mountain area. Due to its inconvenient location and age, none of my city-dwelling relatives wanted to take it on, but demolishing it would require a huge sum. As my family deliberated, I recalled visiting Grandpa's house as a child, catching beetles in the vast nature, and receiving treats from friendly neighbors. These nostalgic memories came flooding back, so vividly that, without even thinking, I raised my hand. "I'll take the house." Maybe it was my exhausted mind and body instinctively urging me to save myself. Naturally, no one opposed my decision, and soon enough, I began my rural life. After moving in, I struggled at first. With no grocery stores or supermarkets nearby, the gap from city life was hard to bridge. But the local people, worried about me living alone, visited almost daily. Sometimes they'd bring freshly harvested vegetables. Other times they'd help with cleaning. This warm interaction with the locals gradually healed my weary heart. A few months into living in the countryside, I was healthier and happier, even growing my own vegetables and foraging for mountain plants. However, about 2 years after moving, I found myself grappling with a new issue. It was about my income. Though I managed to secure food from my garden and gifts from neighbors, living expenses still added up, and my carefully saved funds were nearing their limit. It was time to find some work. Now that I'd fully recovered physically, I decided to try my hand at vacation rentals. I thought city dwellers, just as I once was, might appreciate experiencing a life immersed in nature. Plus, with this historic house, it could certainly appeal visually. There was plenty of room in the house, and as long as I had bedding ready, it would be good enough to operate as a vacation rental. With that in mind, I quickly completed the application process and other necessary steps. The only thing I was concerned about was meal preparation, but a local friend who was confident in her cooking, Grace, offered to help, which put me at ease. Once preparations were complete, I created a social media account for the vacation rental. I started by advertising it as limited to one group per day, and before long, a booking came in. I shared the news with Grace, my designated cook. "Well, congratulations. I guess I'll have to give it my all, too," she said. Grace and I threw ourselves into getting everything ready. Then the opening day of the vacation rental finally arrived. "Hello," I heard a woman's voice from the entrance. I hurried to greet her, welcoming her into the house. "Welcome, right this way, please." Guiding her to the living room, I was a little nervous. Her name was Chloe, and she was 29, visiting from downtown. I assumed she, too, had come to unwind from the stresses of city life, and we started chatting, but she seemed somewhat uneasy. Is something wrong?" I asked, wondering if I had done something to make her uncomfortable. Chloe glanced around the room, then asked, "Is the family who lives here currently out?" Surprised by the unexpected question, I replied, "Actually, I'm the only one who lives here." "What? So are you running this place alone?" "Yes, but I've arranged for a local to take care of the meals, so you don't have to worry about that." "So, that means it'll just be the two of us here tonight." It finally dawned on me. She was uneasy about spending the night alone in a house with a man she didn't know, though I had included my name and age in the advertisement. I realized that it might have been odd for a young woman to book a stay alone, but I'd assumed she was familiar with vacation rentals, so I hadn't given it much thought. "Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I made the reservation in a bit of a rush. I guess I'd imagined that vacation rentals like these were often run by elderly couples," she said, looking a bit awkward. "Of course, I'm here to welcome you professionally as a guest, but if you still feel uncomfortable, I could ask a nearby neighbor to stay over tonight." My tone came out a little sharper than I intended, as I was feeling slightly offended by her suspicion. "Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to doubt you." A tense silence settled between us, and I regretted coming across so curtly toward Chloe, my very first guest. Trying to turn things around, "If you'd like, there's still some time before lunch. How about a little walk?" I offered. She seemed to feel the same awkwardness, and nodded in agreement several times at my invitation. "Wow, there's so much nature here. Oh, look at that flower, it's beautiful." Her eyes sparkled as she gazed around, taking in the surroundings. Everything here seemed to be a new experience for her. She stopped to admire every little thing she noticed, taking her time to appreciate it all. I walked slowly behind her as she explored with the enthusiasm of a child. Several times, she glanced back to chat with me. "I've always dreamed of living somewhere like this in the countryside. I know it would be a lot of work if I actually tried to live here, but still. I actually came here myself about 2 years ago when I was close to breaking down from work," I replied. The awkwardness between us from earlier had faded completely, and we enjoyed our conversation as we strolled through the peaceful landscape. Just then, we saw our neighbor coming back from the fields up ahead. "Oh, Liam, is she your girlfriend? Such a lovely young lady," the neighbor said, catching me off guard. "Oh, no, she's just a guest staying at my vacation rental." "Oh, a guest, is she? Well, it's rare to see someone so young around here. There's nothing much here but nature, but take your time and enjoy it. And here, take these." With that, we were given a large bundle of freshly harvested cucumbers, practically forced into our hands. "Thank you, though. Can I even carry all of these?" I said, struggling to hold them all. Chloe watched me with a cheerful smile as I tried to manage the armful of cucumbers. Then, another neighbor coming back from the fields happened to pass by. "Oh, Liam. She's a guest at the vacation rental." I quickly introduced Chloe, and the neighbor nodded in understanding. "Oh, got it. You know, it'd be great if more young folks like you came to live in this village." That comment struck a chord. Most of the villagers here were elderly, and I was practically the only one considered young. The majority of residents were farmers, but they had no successors, and continuing the physically demanding farm work had become difficult, with no other industries in the village. All the young people had left for the city. "If things keep going like this, there'll be no one left here someday," sighed one of the neighbors, holding the cucumbers. That evening, as Chloe and I enjoyed the meal Grace had prepared, We reflected on our earlier conversation. With all this beautiful nature and such wonderful people, it would be such a loss if the village disappeared. I keep wondering if there's something I can do to help, I said. I really love this village. I promise I'll come back, so please keep running your vacation rental, Chloe replied, her gaze steady and sincere. Thank you. I'll do my best to keep it going, so come visit any time. The next morning, I saw Chloe off, sensing her reluctance to leave. A few months later, I received a message that a family emergency meeting had been called, but I couldn't attend since I had a booking for the vacation rental that day, so I planned to hear the outcome from my parents afterward. The day after that family meeting, I got a call from Mom. Hey, sorry I couldn't make it to the discussion yesterday. So what was it all about? Straight to the point. But, do you think you could raise a child? I was taken aback by Mom's sudden question, and couldn't help but ask her to explain. As it turned out, my parents hadn't been able to attend the meeting either due to scheduling conflicts. However, that night, Mom received a report from her brother, Uncle Owen. He told her that Mom's younger sister, Zoe, had gone missing about a week ago. Not only that, but Zoe apparently had a 7-year-old daughter named Lily. Mom and Zoe had only played together as kids and hadn't kept in touch for years. So Mom hadn't even known her sister had a daughter until then. Mom continued in a serious tone. The issue now is what to do with Lily, who's been left behind. What? Who's going to take her in? Well, they're asking if you could take her, Liam. Finally, I began to understand what Mom's initial question really meant. But even so, it didn't make sense to me. I'm a 30-year-old single guy who'd retired from my job to live a semi-retired lifestyle. The idea of me suddenly becoming the dad of a young girl was absurd. I asked Mom hesitantly, Mom, you didn't agree to this, did you? Mom's tone suddenly grew anxious. We couldn't attend the meeting, so we weren't really in a position to strongly oppose the decision once it was made. What? You're kidding. I tried my best to persuade them. I even offered for your dad and me to take Lily ourselves, but they thought your home, with all the nature around it and ample space, would be best for her. And somehow they knew you'd started a vacation rental, so they figured finances wouldn't be an issue. Wait a minute. I only just started this vacation rental. It's not smooth sailing yet at all, and I'm barely managing financially. Well, apparently Owen is bringing Lily over tomorrow. He'll fill you in on the details when he gets there. If it really seems impossible, we'll try to work something out ourselves. Even if you say that out of nowhere. With that, Mom abruptly ended the call, leaving me standing there, stunned, still holding the phone. When I asked her with a smile, Lily wiped away her tears and nodded. As we continued our walk, Lily took in everything around her, glancing around with wide eyes. Oh, a praying mantis, and look, dandelions over there. Every time she spotted something new, she'd stop and look at it intently. Watching her explore, I felt a strange sense of déjà vu. It reminded me of Chloe. What do you think Chloe's doing right now? I wondered aloud. Every time I got a new booking for the vacation rental, I found myself scanning the name list to see if it might be Chloe. It hadn't even been that long since her visit, just a few months. Still, I was sure she'd come back one day. Reassuring myself with this thought, I crouched down beside Lily, who was intently watching a fluffy dandelion head. Hey, Lily, watch this. I took a deep breath, preparing to blow the dandelion seeds into the air, but I got a little too enthusiastic with my inhalation and ended up choking. Tears filled my eyes as I glanced over at Lily, whose usually tight-lipped mouth was quivering slightly. I asked, hoping for a reaction. Hey, Lily, Are you trying not to laugh? Lily nodded, surprised by my question. I continued gently. Why do you hold back from laughing, Lily? She thought about it for a moment, then slowly began to speak. Because, when I laugh, Mom gets mad. What? So even when I feel like laughing, I hold it in. That's why I didn't laugh in front of Owen either. Lily looked down again, her gaze fixed on the dandelion. Why would her mother scold her for laughing? I couldn't help but feel uneasy about Zoe, someone I'd never even met. Later, we went around to greet the neighbors, who warmly welcomed Lily as if she were their own grandchild. They gave us even more gifts than usual to take home. But when we got back, I noticed a woman standing in front of the house. I didn't have any bookings for today. I pulled out my phone to check the reservation list, but before I could, Lily suddenly ran toward the woman. Chloe. What? Startled, I quickly joined Lily. And to my surprise, standing there was Chloe. Lily. What are you doing here? Chloe, what brings you here? And, how do you know Lily? The unexpected reunion with Chloe, and the connection between her and Lily left me completely bewildered. We decided to go inside, and while we watched Lily play in the garden, Chloe and I sat down to talk. I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start. But first, what exactly is your relationship with Lily? Chloe looked as surprised as I was. Well, I thought most people knew about Lily, the child genius. It turned out that Lily possessed an incredible memory, and she was somewhat famous as a genius child. I was out of the loop, since I didn't usually watch TV. Oh, I see. I don't think the neighbors had a clue about that. Maybe they recognized her name if they've heard it before. Possibly. She only appeared on TV briefly. I actually work as a magazine editor, and I interviewed Lily once. It was incredible that she remembered me so well, for only meeting her once. She's pretty attached to you. I really love children, so I played with her a lot during the wait time for the interview. That might have made her feel closer to me. By the way, what led Lily to be here with you, Liam? I considered my words, then told Chloe everything I knew about Lily, her mother's disappearance, the restriction against laughing, all of it. I thought that maybe, given her connection to Lily, Chloe might know why Zoe disappeared. Chloe let out a deep sigh and finally spoke. Indeed, Chloe seemed to have an inkling about Zoe's disappearance. As Lily's fame grew, her TV appearance fees had brought in a huge sum of money. For Zoe, who had been living in poverty, this sudden influx dulled her financial awareness, leading to increasingly extravagant spending. Eventually, as offers started to fade, Zoe's savings quickly dried up. She became emotionally unstable and, tragically, started taking out her frustrations on young Lily. Because of my job in publishing, I'd heard bits and pieces of what was happening. I met Zoe during the interview with Lily, and she harshly scolded Lily for just smiling a little. It was like she only cared about Lily when she was in the spotlight, and the moment the attention shifted, she wanted nothing to do with her. For Zoe to abandon Lily, knowing everything she's been through, it's just too cruel, Chloe said, her eyes glistening with tears. At that moment, Lily came over from the garden. Chloe, how long are you staying here? Her question raised another one in my mind. That reminds me, why are you here, Chloe? I don't have any bookings today, so you're welcome to stay if you'd like. Chloe's cheeks flushed, looking a bit embarrassed. To be honest, I came here to get away from my ex-boyfriend. What? Her unexpected answer left me stunned. Apparently, just before her first visit here, she had discovered that her boyfriend, Lucas, had been cheating on her with one of her coworkers, no less. Betrayed by both her boyfriend and her colleague, She had initially come here to escape reality. She found solace in the peace of nature and the warmth of the local people, which helped her heal. In the end, she made a bold decision to switch to a different magazine and even move to a new place. But Lucas had tracked her down at her new job, showing up uninvited, afraid that he might discover her new address. She quickly packed a few essentials and came here. After finishing her story, Chloe looked at me intently. "Liam, I'm begging you. Could you let me stay here for a while? I'll help out with whatever you need around the house." I didn't hesitate. "Of course, Chloe. If Lucas is still chasing you after betraying you like that, who knows what he might do next? Let's contact the police, and you can stay here as long as you need to feel safe. Thank you so much." Tears filled her eyes as she thanked me. Lily walked over to her and gave her a tight hug. "Don't worry, Chloe, I'll protect you." "Thank you, Lily." Chloe hugged Lily back gently, and just like that, our house became a lot livelier. Realizing we might run out of food, we decided to head to town to pick up a few supplies beyond the usual vegetables. As the three of us walked hand in hand, with Lily between us, I couldn't help but feel as though I'd found a family. Although Lily still didn't laugh, she was saying positive things like fun and happy more often. I hoped this peaceful, happy time could last forever. But just a few days later, Lucas unexpectedly showed up at our house. That day, as usual, I returned from the fields with freshly harvested vegetables, only to find Chloe facing Lucas at the door. How did you find me?" Chloe stepped back, frightened, while Lucas walked toward her with a grin. "Chloe, I'm sorry, I've ended things with her. Can we give it another shot?" Quickly, I moved between them, and Lily ran out from the house, pointing straight at Lucas. "I know this man. He was there when Chloe interviewed me, taking photos." "Who's this brat?" "Great memory, Lily," I said, impressed. Chloe, realizing I didn't understand, explained. "Lucas used to be a photographer at her former company." Just as Lily had mentioned, Lucas was indeed the photographer who had handled the photos during her interview. When he looked at her, it seemed that memories from that time resurfaced for him. "Oh right, you were that so-called child prodigy, weren't you? Haven't seen you around in ages. Guess you've fallen pretty low, living out in the middle of nowhere like this." Lucas taunted Lily, a grown man cruelly mocking a child. "I saw him with another woman after the interview," Lily chimed in. The woman had blonde hair and a pink skirt. Chloe's expression shifted instantly to anger. "Are you talking about Scarlett? You told me you only started seeing her last month, but it was actually much earlier, wasn't it?" "Hey, you must be mistaken," Lucas stammered, clearly rattled. Just then, his phone began to ring in his pocket. Fumbling for it, he pulled it out, only for me to snatch it from his hand. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" The screen flashed with an incoming call from Scarlett. Without a second thought, I answered. "Hi, you are Scarlett, right? Just so you know, Lucas is here, trying to win Chloe back and causing trouble. Could you make sure he doesn't come back here again?" I could hear shouting on the other end, but I ignored it and ended the call. Then, standing firm, I faced Lucas. "Chloe is my girlfriend, so stay away from her." With a trembling hand, Lucas took his phone back, his face pale as he left. Chloe burst into tears and thanked me, gratitude pouring from her eyes. "Liam, thank you so much. And thank you, Lily, too. You really helped me today." "Did I protect Chloe?" Lily asked. "Absolutely, 100%, I assured her. At that, the corners of Lily's mouth lifted slightly, revealing a glimpse of her teeth. Chloe and I exchanged glances and exclaimed together, "Lily, You just smiled. Really? Did I? Lily looked up at Chloe and me in surprise, glancing back and forth between us. Yes, really. And your smile is beautiful, Chloe said, hugging her gently. From that moment, something seemed to unlock inside Lily, and she began showing her lovely smile more often. Later that evening, while cleaning up after dinner, Chloe asked me quietly, "When you told Lucas off, what did you mean by that?" Remembering my words, I felt my face heat up. Oh well, I guess I got caught up in the moment. Sorry if that was too forward. Just then, Lily chimed in, "But Liam, you like Chloe, don't you?" Well, she wasn't wrong. Living together, my feelings for Chloe had only grown stronger with each passing day. I knew this was my chance, so I took a deep breath and gathered my courage. "Chloe, would you consider dating me?" With marriage in mind, I held out my hand. The moment stretched, feeling like an eternity, until I felt her warm hand grasp mine. Yes, I'd love that. With Lily's help, Chloe and I had just begun our new relationship. We resumed running the vacation rental to support ourselves, and Chloe would cook for guests with vegetables from our garden. Meanwhile, Lily would greet visitors with her brilliant smile and help as a tour guide around the village. Working together, bookings steadily increased, and 2 years later, with the support of the community, we held a simple, handmade wedding. We became husband and wife, officially welcoming Lily as our stepchild. Though we weren't related by blood, we had truly become a family. After that, Lily focused on her studies and went on to college in the city. "Once I graduate, I'll definitely come back. Just wait for me." She set off with a bright smile. I'd love for her to return someday, but more than that, I want her to follow her dreams. A young person like her has so many paths ahead. A quiet life here might not be enough. Chloe, though slightly wistful, agreed. 4 years later, Lily did indeed come back. "Lily, you're home. Let's celebrate." The villagers, who cherished Lily like their own granddaughter, were thrilled and held a graduation party in her honor. As people filled our home, Lily pulled a projector from her large bag, casting an image on the blank wall. Curiosity stirred in the crowd, and people began murmuring, wondering what was about to happen. That's when Lily spoke up, her voice ringing out loud and clear. "Hey, everyone, what would you think about creating a hands-on experience program for visitors to the village?" The room fell silent as she made her announcement. Lily continued, presenting her idea with passion. The villagers' expressions gradually brightened as she explained further. During her time in college, Lily had been thinking deeply about solutions for the village's declining population. Realizing that a new industry was needed beyond agriculture, she envisioned a tourism program focused on immersive local experiences. She highlighted how unique the village was, offering activities like foraging for wild plants, river fishing, and learning traditional local dishes. In her vision, the villagers would serve as instructors, passing down their expertise to visitors. "I've learned so much from everyone here. Each of you is a master of something, a craftsperson, an expert. I'm so proud of that, and I want the whole world to know just how special you all are." Moved by Lily's passion, everyone there burst into applause. At first, we offered the experience programs only as an option to guests staying at our vacation rental. Most of these visitors were drawn to the natural beauty of the area, and the workshops quickly gained a good reputation. Little by little, the number of tourists grew, and even the bus service between the town and our village increased. Though some participants only came for a single experience, the number of people expressing interest in relocating to the village steadily rose. Now young adults and even children are a common sight. The longtime villagers, too, seem livelier and more vibrant than before. Thank you, Lily. It's thanks to you that the village has regained its energy. Everyone here is truly grateful. The three of us sat together, soaking in the peaceful atmosphere. Lily, you've brought us together as a family, and you've spread happiness to the entire village. You're like our very own goddess of good fortune. Oh, please, cut it out with the goddess talk. Lily laughed, blushing. I just came back because I love Dad, Mom, and everyone in the village. Seeing her so happy, we couldn't help but smile, too, our hearts full of warmth and gratitude.